everybody. My name is Jessica Radloff. I am Senior West Coast Editor at Glamour and also host of the official Big Bang Theory podcast. And I am your host for today's half hour with Bridgerton. And our guest today is showrunner and executive producer, and one of my favorites, Jess Brownell. Welcome, Jess, from London. It is so good to see you.
Thank you, Jessica, for having me.
Oh my goodness, my pleasure. I cannot believe, by the way, it has been nearly a year, probably more than since you and I sat down to preview Bridgerton season 3. It came out almost a year ago now. Since then, of course, it has been met with all sorts of accolades, including the SAG Award nomination for Best Ensemble in a Drama Series, and then star and leading lady Nicola Coughlan also got a nom for Best Actress in a Drama Series by SAG as well. So congratulations again on a phenomenal season 3.
Thank you so much. I'm so proud of our cast and so happy to see them recognized in that way. They are such a hardworking bunch. So we were very thrilled.
Does it feel like it's been a year since the show, since season 3 came out?
Yes and no. It's one of those things where it feels like it was a lot longer than that sometimes. And then other times it feels like just yesterday. I do mostly forget everything that happened in season 3 now that I'm deep in season 4, but it's all coming back.
Okay, well, I'm glad it's coming back, because before we play the trailer, give us an overview. How would you describe season 3 to somebody like the one or two people that have not seen Bridgerton yet?
For me, season 3 was the rom-com season. You know, we put it all in, all the tropes, all the moments, the, best friends turn to lovers. It's all there. And I think Nicola and Luke really just, hit it for the fences. It's a fun season. It's got a lot of lightness to it. And it was a season really about stepping into who you truly are, stepping into your power. And very exciting to see our actors doing that in real life.
Absolutely. Before we throw to the trailer, by the way, I have to ask, did you hear that new Masters champion Rory McIlroy would prepare for the tournament each day by watching Bridgerton? What did you think about that?
I'm so unsporty, but people kept sending that to me, and I was like, that's so cool. I don't know who any sports stars are, but that's awesome. I love it.
Let's throw to the trailer for season 3, and then we will talk all about it.
Great.
Dearest gentle reader, last night an announcement came with great speed.
Mother.
Oh! I'm delighted for you both.
Colin Bridgerton, betrothed to Penelope Featherington.
Who needs fresh air when there is fresh gossip?
Oh, and every eye in the town focus on our upcoming nuptials.
Always loved you, Colin. There is nothing that makes me happier than being with you.
You have not told him, but you always will.
Louis, please do not tell him. He will find out.
Congratulations. But you must admit, it's all rather sudden.
I have known her a very long time. But perhaps it did all happen rather swiftly.
It's swift because you...
Are you going to duel with your own brother? Or...
To the match of the season. Here is to truly knowing each other completely.
Anne, is everything all right? What are you still saying? Have you been writing?
Oh, yes, letters.
Until he knows the real you, he cannot possibly love you.
Colin cannot discover my secret. Whistledown is power.
If it's too difficult for you to reveal the truth, I will reveal it to him myself.
Is there some secret you will not tell me?
Colin, I can take care of myself.
Then what good am I to you?
While most seasons of our marriage mart follow a pattern, this season is surely a surprise.
Your duty is to cater to Mr. Bridgerton's dreams.
What about my dreams?
Ladies do not have dreams. They have husbands.
Gossip as I might, this author cannot tolerate a lie.
You did all that.
With a lot of help. A lot of help.
I know that you had a lot of help, but it is so impressive when you look back. I mean, it was such a phenomenal season. You had romance, you had drama, you had laughter and humor and mystery and everything. So when you look back at this stellar third season, what are you most proud of?
Hmm. It's hard to pick. Watching that trailer, I am picking out moments going, gosh, I really love the Eloise Penelope storyline. I love the depth with which we got to explore female friendship, within a romance show. You don't always get to look at female friendship. So that's something that I'm really proud of. I love the arc that Portia Featherington goes on in season 3, how we get to really humanize her and watch her come out, from overlooking Penelope to really seeing who her daughter truly is. There's some really special moments in there. Anyone who has a mother, hopefully that will resonate for them in some way. So there's a lot that I'm very proud of.
I mean, I am obsessed with this series, as you know, but in season 3, I feel like you had so many elements to work with between, of course, you have the central romance, that friends to lovers, storyline that you have been talking about, but you also have the reveal of Lady Whistledown. And like you said, the scenes with Eloise and Penelope. I mean, there were so many moving parts. How did you, I don't know, stay focused with all of these things? I mean, this could make anybody a little crazy. I feel like having to juggle a million plates in the air, but what was that like for you?
It was tough. I mean, in the writer's room, I just really relied on the writing staff. Everyone was in charge of their episode and brought their A game. It was a fantastic challenge to get to tell a story about a woman where her story is not just about her romantic life. It's also about the deep, intimate relationship with her ex-best friend, but also with her career alter ego. And so, yeah, there are a lot of sides to Penelope Featherington to balance, but I think that's what makes her such a relatable and fantastic character.
Absolutely. And you mentioned all the people that are around you to help bring this massive, massive show to life. And I mean, there's the costume designers, there is the makeup and the hair teams, there's the set designers, production, I mean, everything. How did they inspire you creatively throughout the season? And how often do you go visit their individual departments just to like get a sneak
Yeah.
peek of what they're working on?
As often as possible. I mean, it really was a collaboration. We were still tweaking the episodes, each of them during production. And, I would go visit Allison Gartshore, our production designer, and we would talk about, what was needed for certain balls, story-wise. I remember Will and Alice's ball. She helped me come up with this strange flower box that opened so that they could have this fantastic moment of being recognized by the queen. And then after that talk, I went, straight with the writer to script. Our hair and makeup department, Erica Ockvist, she, I think, has been recognized in different ways for her work on the show. So talented. I loved seeing people keep talking about the swan wig that, went around the world. And then Sean Glazer in costumes, I don't know the number in his department, but it's not a village, it's a town, it's a postal office, a PO box. Like there's so many people there, and each of them is just doing it by hand, all this detail. So it makes you want to push the writing even more. You feel like you see everyone bringing their A game, and you're like, okay, I have to find moments to honor the beauty of the craftsmanship that's happening. And it's really true to the storytelling, though, and true to the time period, that it was all about what you're wearing, all about what your house looks like, all about how you're doing your hair. So those craftspeople are so integral to the work that we do.
When you guys are in production, what time do you wake up in the morning and what time do you usually finish working? Because I just don't know how you stop, and yet you've got to sleep in order to take care of yourself. But what are truly the hours that you're working when you're in production?
It depends on, I mean, if you're asking me, my hours are probably better than some of the crew. Some of the crew is getting up at, 4 in the morning to start. Like hair and makeup, I think, is one of the earliest departments because of the wigs, getting people into wigs and makeup super early, and then, running till we do 10-hour shooting days. And so they have to get there before, stay after. On the writing side, we're doing a little balancing act between the production hours and then LA hours. So we're, doing set, which will normally start at 8 a.m. and then LA wakes up around 4 p.m. and trying to balance all those balls. But I have tremendously talented writers who cover set who allow me to focus on the writing process and working with LA. So I'm not having to pull double duty that often.
Can you sleep though during production? Is it hard, or are you always thinking about everything for the next day?
Yeah, there's always a little tick, tick, tick going on, and the sort of scanning for what did I miss? What did I miss? I finally had to give my incredible assistant access to my email, direct access. You have to start going through the 200 emails and helping me sort them, because people are working hard and they need answers. We want to keep the process moving.
Absolutely. I want you to talk a little bit about how you got into the showrunner position for season 3 of Bridgerton. I first met you. It's one of my favorite memories back in 2020. It was literally right before the shutdown happened for the pandemic. I was on a Netflix press trip to Marrakech for Inventing Anna, and it was episode 6, I believe, at La Mamunia. And it was so surreal to be there. And I remember being in Video Village, and I was sitting right behind you. And I remember because I was like, you looked like a publicist that I knew. And I'm like, but he's not in Morocco. But I was looking at you. And then you were telling me that you were the writer of that episode. Of course, you were on the Shondaland, team. So explain, your resume is incredible, from not just Inventing Anna, but Scandal as well. So how did you get involved with working with Shonda Rhimes? And tell us a little bit about your trajectory.
2 magic words, and those magic words are Betsy Beers, who is Shonda's, right-hand producing partner. I was very lucky to land on her desk as an assistant at a university, and got the coffee happily and with gusto, and then just kind of worked my way up, was a researcher on Scandal, worked on Inventing Anna. I was on the first 2 seasons of Bridgerton as a writer. And when the show was looking for a new showrunner, I think I worked really closely with Shonda on Inventing Anna. And I think she got to see that I was ready and capable of taking the reins on something. I never dreamed that it would be Bridgerton. But I was so thrilled when I got the call, because it's like, if I wasn't working on it, it would be my favorite show. It's such a marvelous world. When you're show running something, you have to live in that world most of your life. You have to think about it constantly. And to get to be in, Regency, England, not so bad. Not so bad. Pretty great, actually.
Such a magical world. I mean, just everything that you've created, it's just incredible. How did you deal with the legions of fans and stepping into this showrunner role, knowing, especially because so many of them had been looking forward to season 3 for the Penelope Colin story? What was that like for you, and the pressure that you felt to bring this to life? Because it is the one story. I mean, I kept hearing about it, like, wait till we get to this book. So how did that feel for you to work on it?
I mean, huge weight for sure. I'm a fan of the books. My grandmother is a fan of the books. All of the writers in the room are fans. And as a fan, I knew that there's certain things people really want to see from those books, and things that they don't want messed with. And we tried to honor the books as much as we could. I think we went through that first week and highlighted what are the key moments we have to see, and you see that, I think, in the carriage moment and in the lantern moment, and, a lot of different pieces that made it into season 3. The dancing we took from the book and put it into the church, different things like that. But we also have to honor the fact that this is a screen adaptation and we have a whole ensemble. So having to serve that ensemble forces the story in a different direction sometimes. And I just really trust the people I work with, the writers I work with, Shonda, et cetera. And we feel good about where we landed.
1000%. I always say that the finale episode for season 3 is one of my favorites, and all the cliffhangers that you did in those last 5 minutes, like, oh my God, what a way to set up season 4. Very important question before we actually throw to a clip of Penelope and Colin. Did your grandmother get to go visit the set?
She never got to visit the set, you know.
Oh.
She's 97 years old, I think, at this. No, not 97. She's gonna kill me. I think she's 95 or 6. So coming over, and she lives in California. So coming over to England would be quite difficult for her. But she's watched the season a number of times and has been delighted by it. So I feel like, check. Okay, we made grandma happy.
Or at least you got a FaceTimer from the set, but that's understandable that she may not.
I've done
that.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so let's watch a clip of Penelope and Colin, and then we're going to talk all about it after it plays.
In fact, there's something I've been meaning to tell you for a very long time. That I have loved you since the moment we met. An embarrassingly long time, really. Even the years I pretended to be your friend, I was, but I loved you in secret. I have always loved you, Colin.
I will spend a lifetime begging your forgiveness for not seeing you sooner.
There is no need. There is nothing in the world that makes me happier than being with you. Colin, what are you doing?
I'm not dancing. My future wife in a church where we'll be married.
What is it like when you rewatch that?
When I watch that, I just think, gosh, we are all Penelope Featherington.
Oh.
Like, I feel like, have you even lived if you haven't had a multi-year unrequited crush on someone, probably in high school or college, you know? Like, I love for her that she gets the wish fulfillment of the guy who she was invisible to for so long, like finally coming around and seeing her and just wanting to apologize for it and kick himself for it. Like, it's such a magical moment.
It's so good. What was it like working with Nicola and Luke throughout the season? I mean, I adore them. I know you do too. So tell us a little bit, give us a little insight about the working relationship that you 3 had.
I love them deeply, truly. I mean, we would always just sit around and go, we're so happy that we're getting to do this together, because for all of us, it was a first time. You know, it was my first time show running. It was their first time really leading a big project. And, you know, we talked about how all of us, none of us grew up with like connections to Hollywood. You know, there's no Nepo baby action going on there. Like, we all kind of were pinching ourselves throughout the experience going, how did we get here? Like, this is cool. This is really cool. And it made it so fun working with people who were just genuinely excited to be there and, you know, appreciated every moment of it. So we had so much fun.
I remember being on set in season 1 actually and talking to Nicola, and I think she was telling me that she started off working in an eye doctor's office or something like that. And just to be there now experiencing it, and this was before she even got the leading role in season 3. But I mean, everybody on that set was so appreciative of the gift that they were given with this show. Talk to me a little bit about working on the Lady Whistledown reveal, because obviously that was such a huge part of season 3 that we've talked about already. But what was it like developing that, and also how you weaved it throughout the season? Because there's a lot of close calls. There's a lot, you know, we have Cressida coming and saying, you know, that's me. What was that like crafting that storyline and weaving it throughout?
Yeah. We always knew we were going to get there because it is revealed at the end of Julia Quinn's book. It was a question for us of how we got there. And ultimately, we knew we wanted Penelope to be the one to really own it, to own the part of her that she'd been hiding for so long. But it created great stakes for us throughout the season, knowing that there was this ticking time bomb secret that could explode at any minute. And I think it allowed us to live in the loviness and the play between Colin and Penelope for a little while, which was handy, knowing that it's going to get upended anytime.
1000%. Also, what was it like? You know this. One of my favorite aspects also of season 3 was having Jonathan Bailey and Simone Ashley back and getting to watch their love story bloom. I mean, I just adore Johnny. He was one of the first people I got to meet on that set. And I just loved the romance and humor with the two of them. What made you proudest with that story too?
I loved having them back, and we were so lucky that, they were able to do it. I think for me, it was really important that, okay, yeah, they're married and they got their happy ending, but they're still fundamentally who they are, those characters. I think one of my favorite moments with them is in the charades sequence in episode 5, when you see how competitive they are with each other still. And Johnny has one of my favorite deliveries of a line where he just blurts out the names of different wildflowers, hoping to win at charades. So seeing that, okay, yeah, they've gone on their journeys and grown as characters, but they're still going to go after each other on the Pall Mall field and going to, heckle each other when they get competitive. So yeah, that was really fun. And then just getting to see the love and the tenderness between them, because they worked for their happy ending, those characters. So they deserved some fun.
Yes. All right. Well, let's go back to Penelope and Colin for a second, because in episode 4, it's one of my favorite cliffhangers and way to kind of split up the two parts of the season. We have the carriage ride, and you have Pitbull in the orchestra version of one of his most well-known songs to kind of lead into this scene, heighten it, leave us hanging for another 3.5 weeks. We were all like, oh my God, this is just brilliant. But what was your conversations like with the music supervisor, Justin Camps? How do you, did you know that Pitbull was going to be the song? How do you go and explain to him what you want for this scene? I want to know everything about those conversations.
So Justin, the way we work is Justin gives me these playlists at the very beginning of the season. I think we had a loose conversation at the beginning of the season about what are some of the themes that are going to be at play. What is it about these characters that we're exploring? And then he just gives me like 200 songs of existing string quartet covers. And I usually don't listen to them until we get to the editing stage, just because the writing is too all consuming. But I always do like a showrunner cut of every episode. Shonda will do a final cut that then she'll send back to me and Shondaland. But I have a cut that I work on right after the director does their cut. I had listened to this Pitbull song. I had noted all the songs that I thought were great from, that list that I wanted to find a place for. And that Pitbull song, it never really touched the sides for me when I heard it, originally, like 15 years ago. But the orchestral version of it has this like magical growth that feels so cinematic. And watching, I wasn't originally thinking of it for the carriage scene, but watching it, I was like, this needs a super orchestral build to it. I mean, it was already there. Like the chemistry and the spark between Nicola and Luke is so insane in that scene, but you needed the music to match that. And so we tried it out, and I thought for sure someone was going to axe it when, Shonda saw it or Shondaland saw it, but no one axed it. They left it in. So that's how it ended up there.
I'm so glad that nobody axed it, because it is truly the perfect song. And for a second, I remember thinking, wait, is that Pitbull's song there? Just was seamless. It was
good.
so good.
I love I hadn't watched any, internet, TikTok, whatever reactions to the show until episode 4, part 1 had fully dropped. And I watched so many carriage scene reactions, and I loved seeing people go, "Is that Pitbull?" Like, that's what you want, I think, from these songs, is not for people to recognize it right away, but for people to go like, "Wait a second, I know that song." And then to go, "Is that XYZ?" That's kind of the fun of the needle drop. So I love that you had that reaction.
Yes, absolutely. What do you do when on the day that the show premieres on Netflix? Are you hiding under the covers or taking a long nap, or are you out, looking at social media reactions? What is that day like for you?
I turned off my phone for a few days, actually. It worked out that I happened to be on vacation. We were I think we hadn't started the next season's room or something. So I was able to turn off my phone, and, just kind of enjoy hearing from friends who I was seeing in person. And then I finally turned it on and, got to read some text messages. And then once I heard that generally people were enjoying it, I was like, okay, maybe I'll I'll watch some TikTok reactions very briefly, and then I got off because it's a dangerous game to play.
I was going to say it's a very healthy way to go about when you're a showrunner on a series like this, that, just block it all out. But as I think I mentioned to you last year, like, you should only be proud of this season. It was phenomenal on every level, and there were so many moving parts. I still don't know quite how you did it. What did you learn about leadership in this role, especially stepping in to season 3? Yes, you were a writer, of course, but stepping into that leadership role, what are some of the most important attributes that you learned to take with you, especially as then you go into season 4 too?
Yeah, it's all about delegation for me. I was, it wasn't that I didn't trust other people to do, things, because I knew I was surrounded by such incredible creatives, but there was just there was just fear in season 3 because it was the first time. And so I was just constantly monitoring everything. And I think going into season 4, I've been able to take a breath and really trust the people I have around me, lean on my writers even more, lean on our department heads and let them do their thing and step back a little bit more. I don't view TV as it's a team sport. And so I don't need to do everything. I don't need to get credit for everything. I just want to make the best possible show. And I think the more voices that are elevated, the better the show will be.
Yes, it's a huge undertaking, and you did it so beautifully. So, final question for you as part of our half-hour series, which is there one thing about Bridgerton that stands out for you that would make someone who hasn't had a chance to see it yet check it out? What would you say to a future Rory McIlroy who hasn't watched it yet, about this is why you'll love it?
Well, it depends on whether Rory McIlroy is using it for adrenaline or to quiet his mind. Because if it's adrenaline, I would say it's spicier than you're even thinking. And if it's to quiet your mind and put a little smile on your face, I would say, it's a show about the things that bond us all together. It's a show not just about romance, but about friendship and family. And I don't think that those things get enough airtime. We don't give them their proper due. And I think you get to really explore the power of those relationships in a really deep way.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Jess Brownell, for the amazing conversation. And thank you to our friends at Netflix as well, and for joining us on Half Hour With. This has been such a joy. And I believe I speak for all of us when I say we cannot wait for Bridgerton season 4. And congratulations on all of your accomplishments.
Thank you, Jessica. It's so nice to see you again.
So good to see you too, Jess. Have a great rest of the day.
you.